Hi there. Hi there. It is October of 2022. And my name is Trisha Broderick with Ignite Insight in Innovation. And this has been a whirlwind few weeks between the book's public official launch with Lead Without Blame with Diana Larson and co-hosting and supporting and sharing at Humanizing Work with Humanizing Work and Helping Improve. It feels crazy that it's October and I'm just trying to keep my head above water in a good way, but in a crazy way right now. So it's probably a perfect time for this topic. This topic is when I am feeling a lot of like everything's hitting me all at once. I can own that my critical judging side can take over a little bit, can escalate a little bit because I don't have time. I got to get things done. I'm trying to be efficient. I'm trying to be effective. And I just get snotty. And I just own it. It is what it is, but it's not a good thing. It's not a good place to be in. So I try and really think about what are some tips that I thought maybe others could benefit from if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, and how do you try and stay curious, right? How do you really invoke that curiosity? Because the power of curiosity really helps to unlock and explore what's possible, right? With humility and yet confidence in not only your ability to solve problems, but their ability to solve problems. And it's just, honestly, it's a better way of going about life. And yet it can be really hard to stay curious, to not get into that critical place or that judging place. And so these are some of the things that I do to try and help, especially when I feel that stress and that weight. And so whenever my first tip, just hit it right out of the gate, right? My first tip is whenever I have one of those WTF moments, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where you're like, seriously? WTF? Like, how is this possible? How do you thinking that or pitching that or sharing that or saying that, whatever it might be? And whenever you're in that place, it's not going to be good. You're not bringing your best self. They can feel it. Even if those words never come out of your mouth, they know you're thinking it, right? And so I heard this a while ago, and then I've heard it again. Marsha Acker likes to highlight it too. And instead of changing where's, WTF to where's that from? So if you find yourself kind of getting in that judgy place, to kind of stop and go, still doing the what TF, but now it's where's that from? What might be happening that I'm not paying attention to? What might I need compassion for that might be happening, that might be being said or not said? And oftentimes by just stopping and repositioning it to where's that from, I see the bigger picture. I can see kind of maybe something that I'm just not noticing because I'm frustrated in the moment, instead of really showing up with compassion and curiosity. And so just that slight switch can sometimes be enough for me. Not always, but a lot of times if I just hold that space of where's that from instead of WTF, you're going to have a better outcome. You're going to have a better result. 2, when that doesn't work or when I need more, I don't do this next one to punish myself, but it is a check of my, let's get real honest and humble here, Trisha, moment, in the sense that when was the last time I guessed or assumed something? It was totally wrong, right? Where I got critical, where I got judgy, where I reacted out of frustration and was wrong, was either wrong about why it wasn't so obvious, was wrong about what I actually thought it was wrong about why that it was a good idea and that I was wrong to begin with, flat out, right? Regardless of whatever it was, I was wrong, or I was too quick, or I jumped to conclusions, assumptions, bias, right? And we all have those moments. And so I do remind myself of like a recent one and it does check me. It's like, okay, you were wrong there. Maybe you're wrong here too. Why are you reacting so strongly? What's going on? What can you adjust, right? And so, I mean, I'm not beating myself up and trying to shame myself for it, but I am reminding myself that our brains are magical and infuriating all at the same time. And so kind of checking myself a little bit on when was that last time I was wrong, because maybe I'm wrong here too. And I need to come from more of a place of curiosity. The third one is just flat out recognizing that we are smarter and remembering that the best wisdom comes from the crowd. So if I just react, not from a place of curiosity, but from quickly trying to get an answer or shutting it down, then we're not, as I was talking with Lizzie Morrison, the Let's Continue the Conversation this morning, we're not creating this beautiful mosaic, right? And that mosaic comes from the collaboration, from the conversation, from the curiosity in the collaboration. So if you don't come with that curiosity, you're not coming with your best self. You're not coming where the best chance of the best outcome is coming out, right? And that can really, instead of like the punishing side or the checking myself side from the first two, this is a reminder of what my ultimate goal is. My ultimate goal is to create amazing things. And the best way to do that is through collaboration. And the way that you do collaboration is through curiosity, is through engagement, not judgment, not shutting it down, not quick responses and reactions. And so it's kind of making sure I'm remembering what my ultimate goal is when I'm doing this. And that can help with things. 4, even if it seems really, okay, Trisha, I hear you, all of those things, those are lovely, but in this case, it really is ridiculous. And we have to, and I'm right to react. I get it. I've had those moments. I feel those things too. I kind of felt like that this morning myself. But then it's a stopping and going, okay, even if all of that's true, you're right, it's right, no matter, all of that's true. Are you being curious about what else is possible? The bigger opportunities, the beyond what's right in front of you. I always loved it when David Hussman would highlight any problem's just an opportunity to solve. And I've kind of expanded that a lot lately in saying any problem is an opportunity. And there are way more opportunities beyond that problem too. And sometimes we get so focused on being reactive and the quick check mark and like, look, I love me some check marks. I do. I make lists of lists. But we get so focused on trying to be done in that check mark that we miss all these other great opportunities. And the only way you see them is by being curious, by expanding and saying what else is possible and what, not having tunnel vision and digging in solely on that item, but like looking at the bigger picture. So yeah, maybe this particular thing is frustrating and dumb, but is there something bigger there? Is there something beyond just that thing that is got potential, has got an opportunity there? And I've never honestly tried doing that and not found something. So it's there. You just have to look for it. You have to be curious. You have to be engaged. And once I get in that space, it gets a lot easier for me to do that. And then my last one that I want to highlight, that's been kind of the theme through all of these tips, is I just have to stop and remember the long game. At the end of the day, the long game is that people are safe to explore. I'm safe to explore. I can be curious about things, learn and grow. And I want other people to experience that. So if I'm reacting without curiosity, I'm not setting a great example. If I'm reacting with judgment and one, it's just bad, but it doesn't create safety to want to continue to explore, go forward, and we create different narratives. Nobody wants to be judged or shamed. And the reality is we need those conversations. We need that curiosity and we need that collaboration. So I have to remember that every interaction is a connection. Every interaction is setting a tone for your relationship and the trust that's there to being able to show up as your best self. And I often don't think about the power that I have in terms of how I'm showing up, how I'm role modeling. I just want to be cranky today, right? Today is a good day for this topic because I want to be cranky today. I want to be mad at the world and disappointed in humanity. But at the end of the day, that doesn't help with that long game. It doesn't help with creating the relationships that help us evolve, help us learn, help us grow. And so the more that I can get curious, the more that I can engage with curiosity and not just quickly reacting, the more that I'm on that path that I want to be on. I won't be perfect, and I need to give myself grace as well as other people, but I also want to remember why we're doing this and that I don't know everything. And I know that clearly, but to minimize the self-protections that our brains do, curiosity is the best counter to it. Being curious and wanting to understand more, to meet people where they're at, to be able to fully collaborate means showing up in a place where you're open, in a place where you're willing to engage, in a place where you wonder where is that from? And that is always going to lead to better results for yourself, for whatever you're building, for the others. And I want those types of relationships. I want somebody to feel like they can explore something with me because I'm not going to judge, right? And that's ultimately what I want. That's the brand that I want. So I have to remember that how I show up, even sometimes on the small moments, matters. So those are some of my tips that I use to trying to stay curious, especially when that critical self comes out or the need to get the check mark comes out. And I'm not going to say they work 100% of the time because, human, but they do help a lot. And even today, in a morning where I was like, oh, humanity, people, me getting curious, me engaging in those conversations, me being willing to explore counterpoints and thoughts and ways people are, their perspectives, their experiences, always, always, always leaves me in a better place because it's helping me to get my thoughts more in line, but also possibly a better collaborative result. And so hopefully these tips are useful for you and you're able to, and if you've got more, please give them to me. This was an area I'm always looking for more information on and more tips on with that. And so what's coming up? Not much. We're doing a lot with the book, The Lead Without Blame. Diane and I will be doing a live again in October of some horror stories of leadership. We're going to be doing one live each month. And so we're going to be doing that and that will be free and live on LinkedIn. But in terms of public offerings and trainings, there's nothing for the remainder of this year. Everything else for me this year is private. January, I have a Leading Amazing Teams course with Jake that's scheduled, and advanced CSM focused on building your facilitation skills and really helping in that area is also in January. And then the impactful training and speaking. How do I transfer knowledge and create inspiration with my delivery? All of those are in January of 2023. It's just the rest of this year is going to be a little bit crazy with private work and things along those lines. So if you sign up now, you're guaranteed a spot, but they're all in January of next year. So nothing public coming up immediately. Sorry. But I will be back on live in November as well. Okay. I wish you all a great October and I'll see you next month.